time humanity was given to reverse the sickness we've brought upon this planet. The endless wars, exchanging life for riches. The destruction of living things that had nurtured us from the beginning. This warning fell on muffled ears of humans burdened by exploitation and scarcity, too entranced by the elitist spell to notice flames rising around them.
Approved.
To the elite, this 30-year calculation was interpreted as a departure date. They would flee the hell they've created on Earth, pouring billions into a space station they ironically named Noah's Ark. Despite the creation of climate manipulation devices and synthetic crops over the next 30 years, humanity's fate still appeared to be sealed. As the point of no return arrived in 2085, the president was approached by a man by the name of Joseph Kane. But perhaps man isn't the best word to describe him. A ghost, a wraith, a watcher. For the moment, he's assumed the identity of an astrophysicist and biochemist, researching restorative technology for the Earth's atmosphere. In truth, he's descended from one of the few obscure and powerful families that have orchestrated society from the shadows throughout history. Over time, Kane bloodline maintained the traditional transfer of wealth, covert power, and, most importantly, secrets. The Kane family had passed down stories and documents concerning their contact with interdimensional beings known as the Zenith, although their physical forms remain unrecorded. According to the documents in Kane's possession, there lay a dormant Zenith technology within the depths of the Earth, one that promises untold power, including climate restoration. This treasure called the Astrith had remained hidden for 2 million years, buried in the deepest parts of our oceans. But the steady evaporation and draining of Earth's waters had now rendered the depths accessible. The United States government, of course, was no stranger to the possibility of interdimensional beings, so the resources Kane requested were readily provided. Accompanied by a specialized team of excavators in the U.S. military, Kane journeyed through the West Pacific Ocean in pursuit of the Astra's resting place. He led a small team deep into the heart of the Mariana Trench, guided by a specific sequence of frequencies. What Kane failed to mention, the Astrith was essentially a sentient, living technology. Billions of energetic particles forming a hive mind. Seated here 2 million years ago, the Zenith originally intended to use its terraforming properties to reshape the Earth into an environment fit for their species. A contingency plan as their own planet was nearly consumed by its star. For reasons still unknown, this device was never awakened, sparing the organic life already present. Considering its massive size, only small samples could be collected at a time. Over the course of a month, Kane led his team of scientists through a wide range of experiments, aiming to isolate the Astra's transformative properties. It wasn't long before they realized how truly unstable this living material was. They were on a strict timeline. Political figures backing the project wished to leverage the material's powers for obscene amounts of wealth, to cleanse the air of toxins, heal the soil, surrounding countries would have to pay, establishing the United States as a savior of the world. At least that was the fantasy. Reality proved to be far more devastating. Kane's rash decision to introduce human DNA sequences into the Astra structure was the fatal flaw that changed the course of humanity forever. The initial blast was catastrophic, reaching high into the atmosphere before beginning its journey across the globe. What followed became one of the darkest days of modern history. The particles descended onto humanity like vengeful embers. For some, the effects were instantaneous. Their DNA unraveled upon contact as the foreign code destabilized them. For the majority of the population, around 87%, the particles remained dormant when entering the body, causing only short-term illness. They remained here to mourn the over 820 million of their loved ones and community members. Over the 5 years after this calamity, now remembered as the Azure Fall, nations struggled against economic collapse, fragile attempts at rebuilding, and relentless environmental assaults. Yet one question loomed over all. Who had done this? There were theories, a malfunctioned weapons test, a cosmic event, even a deliberate attempt at population reduction. But none of these explanations address the true question of who.
We have been blatantly lied to for 5 years.
Someone sure as hell knows something.
All parties involved swore themselves to secrecy, bearing all traces of evidence. The rest were vaporized in the initial blast. All but one. Elsewhere, a new fire was beginning to spread. The first sightings of a Zenith sent the world into yet another spiral, although they hadn't been given that name just yet. More cases soon followed, reigniting a fear that had just begun to fade. For a growing 3% of humanity, the Astra's particles fused harmoniously with their DNA. This granted them a variety of otherworldly abilities. Some spontaneously developed elemental or energy-based powers. For others, overt physical enhancements. Many sought to build community and humanize themselves to a fearful public. This would later prove to be a dire mistake. Fear is a deadly disease, a weapon, and those in power never hesitate to use it against a declared enemy. But far too often, the true threat is growing from within.